it would be very difficult to find any religious dispensation or any community that has such a positive view of human nature as Islam does. And of course, we believe as Muslims that that is the teaching of all prophets and all messengers. It may be clear in some faiths and it may not be so clear in others, but it's certainly not something that we originated or that is unique to us, but it's very clear in our tradition. And I'd like to talk about the Fitrah, and in that we'll talk about what we should be, what we should not be. One of the main verses about the Fitrah in the Quran is in Surah number 30, which is called Ar-Rum, the Byzantines, verse number 30. And this verse says, "Set your face," which means your entire being, "to the religion as a seeker of truth." Hanif, very difficult word to translate. And the Hanif is a person who inclines towards truth and declines away from falsehood. I put seeker of truth. I couldn't think of anything better. Some people don't even translate it. So set your face to the religion as a seeker of truth. In the primordial nature from God, which is a translation of Fitrat Allah, which literally means the fitrah of God. But if we say that in English, we don't understand what it means. So the translation here says the primordial nature from God, upon which He originated humankind. There is no substituting anything else for what God has created. That is the upright religion. But most of humankind do not know. Do this, turning unto Him and reverence Him and perform the prayer, and do not be among the idolaters, among those who have divided their religion and become factions, each party rejoicing in what it has. So this is a very important verse. We can talk about it in great detail, but we won't do that tonight. One of the things we see here is that primordial nature is there in every single human being. There are no exceptions, and when we look at some of the hadith that we'll talk about tonight, that's made explicitly clear. There are no exceptions to this rule. All human beings have this same good, basic, primordial nature. And then also the verse says that this primordial nature is Fitrat Allah. Now the word fitrah in Arabic means the way something is created, the way its creation is originated. And everything that exists has a fitrah. Cats have one, fish have one, trees have one, and they're all perfectly made by God. But none of them are called Fitrat Allah. None of them are called the fitrah that is associated directly with God. And this is a genitive construction, but if we said the fitrah of God, as I said, most people would misunderstand it. But what it means is that this is a very praiseworthy fitrah. And in fact, it is the best of all, that human beings are given the very best of natures. And that nature of theirs takes in everything about them. It takes in the way they stand erectly, the way we walk on 2 feet, the way we eat, the use of our thumb. It takes in also the perceptions that we have, the knowledge that we have. And in the Islamic conception of the fitrah, every human being is endowed with an infinite gift of the knowledge of God, the need and the desire to worship God. We're a race of worshipers, as Milton says, that you've got to serve somebody. It might be the devil and it might be the Lord, but you've got to serve somebody. So either we have religions or we have secular alternatives to them. So this indicates that the fitrah of the human being is distinctive, and it's very, very rich in the Islamic conception of it. In my book, I go into that, looking at a number of different sources of it. And also it says, this is the fitrah of God, or from God, the one that is so great, He associates it directly with Himself, just like we talk about the house of God, or the religion of God. And also that human beings are created on this fitrah, literally in Arabic, ala. And again, the use of the prepositions in the Quran is very subtle. But what that means is that this fitrah is 100% of us. It's not like 30% in some, 40 in others. Every human being has this fitrah permeate themselves, no matter if they turn out to be the worst of human beings or the best. There are no differences.